Good afternoon again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and once again, we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the warning and then the disclaimers. So we are about to go in now to an op-ed written by, of course, Clarence Sudram, JD, from the board of directors at the MDRI. We're reading this because Dr. Matthew Israel wants to insist that this shows that this person has an automatic bias against aversives. That makes him feel like that the UN should not consider the letter that was written from MDRI to them. Basically wants to say, they just don't like aversives. They won't consider that these kids are out of control. They're batshit, right? And if I'm not there with my device to torture them, then they'll kill themselves or kill the people. I'll say it again. Doctor, on my worst fucking meltdown, and I've had some fucking doozies. My worst meltdown, worst self-harm, worst aggressions. At my fucking worst. I was hardly going to go grab one of the katanas that I've collected, start going down the street and chopping off people's heads, okay? It's a lie. They use that because if they can scare you, then they can see like the protectors, and anything that they do to us seems righteous. I see you, doctor. Not gonna work. The problem is, in your choosing us and to build your insane fucking torture center off of our backs that brings you millions of dollars every year, there's a problem there. You used us as throwaways, right? Those that society would throw up the lowest amount of fuss about, right? It's not just, you can't have both, doctor. We're either completely out of control or we're not. If we're not completely out of control, why are you torturing us? Let's move on, shall we? Some psychiatric hospitals make heavy use of mechanical restraints and defend them as absolutely necessary. Others serving a similar patient population hardly use them at all. Some have a high rate of seclusion. Others don't even have seclusion rooms. When questioned, clinical professionals explain this diversity as flowing out of their own values about how people should be treated. Oh, the horror! The horror that a medical establishment would dare base their systems based off of the patients that they see instead of punishing us. How awful! Do you hear yourself, doctor? Do you actually hear yourself? You want to know why it's different at each place? Because when you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism. When you know one person with a developmental disability, you know one person with a developmental disability. We all have similarities, it's true. But how our disability affects us is as different as each individual person who has it. Which means, logically, there is no one size fits all when it comes to treatment. So for me to see different hospitals, psychiatric units, to be different from one another, makes coherent, logical sense to me. It makes sense. Because not everybody's the same. I know we can't have that, right, doctor? Please. The same is true of the use of painful and humiliating adversives. While there are tens of thousands of people with mental disabilities in institutions across America, and many hundreds, if not thousands, have severe maladaptive behaviors, only a small handful of programs subject their residences to sanctioned abuse in the name of treatment. It's true! This is what I'm talking about. Person-centered planning, positive behavioral reinforcement, several others whose names escape me because I'm a workaholic and my brain is mush on the best of days. As many treatments are out there, are based on as many of the different unique individuals with our own unique ways of being affected by our disability. It makes sense to a logical brain, but apparently not to Dr. Matthew Israel. What is this person saying here? He's telling you the truth. That there are literally thousands of hospitals, doctors' offices, psychologists, psychiatrists, neurologists, all the world over that every day will form a program after a full functional assessment is done that is tailored to the particular individual, what their needs are, what reasonable accommodations would be, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, how can we help in order to bring these behaviors down to a minimum. This is how real medicine works, doctor. These are people who understand the concept that you don't use chemotherapy to both help someone with cancer and cure the common cold. These are individuals who understand the idea that not one treatment program is going to work for everyone. I know it's not the one-hit fix you all want, but medicine doesn't cater to your I get what I want on demand sort of society. Okay? So what are we seeing here? We're seeing logical arguments based on facts and critical thinking and analytical thinking. How horrible, right? How horrible. We're seeing an individual who knows their field. Someone who uses logic. Someone who's not going to be swayed by this asinine idea that there is a one-size-fits-all, and all we need is a little punishment and we'll just be right happy little neurotypicals. It's not how any of this works. Not anywhere. Not at any time. He wants to use these logic coherent arguments to discredit the individual who made them. When in actuality, he's making absolutely 100% crystal clear the difference between himself and people who know how to fucking do their job. He is giving a clear contrast between his insanity and what is noted to actually work. He's going to back up his own bias by saying, but look, when we punish you, you stop for 5 minutes. Take that device off of me, doctor. See what fucking happens. Because I'm going to tell you what really clearly what would happen. You're going to catch my fucking hands. Alright? Okay, now I forgot because autistic fog brain to do the disclaimers at the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and do them now. If I'm doing them twice, I'm sorry, but Tiffany can't brain today. In the description box, you're going to find the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. You'll also find in there NeuroClassic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding folks in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. We also have the link to the Ozark First article in regards to the Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation. This is a Christian themed school based out of Stockton, Missouri, that takes in so called troubled male teens, that has in pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have at this point been substantiated by the hard evidence dug up by the investigation done by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises up on multiple substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing after drag queens because of their own weird ass obsession with them to actually, protect kids from the real pedophiles. And you've got a governor. I don't even know what to say about this governor. Send help. All right? Send help. So please read that article and share it on all your social media. You're also going to find the Stop the Shock campaign links, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, Jid from a Sumba sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins, and you also have blah blah templates, the ever-present self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. Folks, I do appreciate your time. As always, we hope you have a good one, and I shall see you next video. Bye-bye.